I was really stuck on Xanax for a while, a long time, and few years. I don't think I was ever gonna stop if I saw what it was doing to me. Because I mean, at that point, I feel like a lot of people in addiction, they have that mindset of, I don't really matter. I'm here for everybody else, but what's going on with me? Let me just pop this perk, pop this in, and that's my problems. That's how I deal with mine, this and that. Right. Once I really took a step back and saw like my mom's getting hurt by this, I'm not even thinking I'm hurting myself. I'm just trying to drown the emotions and not face my emotions as a man. I'm trying to run from them. And so then once I realized like, damn, I'm hurting people that are around me and they're not even doing anything. So why do they have pain? And I'm like, oh, I'm bringing them pain because they love me. And that's really what got me to the other side of it, was because I couldn't continue to cause pain in other people's life when I know what pain is. Like I'm feeling pain and I'm running from pain by taking these pills and by drinking. So if I'm running from it, why would I bring this pain onto somebody else that I supposedly love?
Fully connected.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Fully Connected Podcast, your go-to destination for inspirational conversations to help you become your greatest version. I am your host, Chris Jones, licensed therapist and owner of Fully Connected Counseling. Today, we got another special guest in the building. You know, you guys might have heard of him before, the talk around the town, H-I-P-P-Y to the K. We got him in the building today.
What's going on, my guy?
And that's kind of like a bar right there, H-I-P-P-Y to the K.
Yeah, definitely.
We got him in the building today, right? You know, so, I used to spit a little something back in the day.
Yeah.
But, mostly like production wise, I always fell in love with that. So, I want to shout out to you and obviously as Andrew as well, because you guys are definitely making waves in the city for sure, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Definitely, man. So, tell everybody, look, you just got off tour.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So we had announced a few shows. I was messing with my OKC team, Pow Gang. We had linked in with somebody, got booked for, I want to say total maybe about like 15 shows or so. Yeah. Actually had stepped back away from that to about, I want to say the first or second show we had we're in Houston and ended up just making the right plays and was on the radio. Shout out to Ja the Poet, shout out Big Yogi. Right. We ended up getting on the radio and messing with Big Yogi Promotions. He had mentioned about some opportunities out there, so I stepped back to focus on the opportunities that he had put out on the table, and through that came Paul Wall. I've got another one coming up, Slim Thug. So I had to step back away from a tour and focus on the individual image real quick.
Absolutely, man. So you say you opened up for Paul Wall?
Yeah, in Pasadena, Texas. So it was dope.
So you got to meet Paul Wall? You got to meet him too?
I got to meet him, shake his hand, do all that.
Definitely, man. Because like Texas could be like definitely like a good fan base for you. I really feel like, man, like Texas could be like a home where people really mess with you.
Oh yeah, Texas is huge. You can do a whole tour in Texas,
bro. So many places in Texas, bro.
Yeah.
I was curious to like, what's your thoughts about music here in the city as far as just like local rap and like advice you would give to like local artists who want to get on tour, because like some artists, they're rapping but they've never been on tour like how you did.
I feel like the best advice is really just you gotta network your ass off. That's you gotta drop, make sure you're putting out consistent music. That should be the easiest part of it, is making your music and putting out new content. That's supposed to be the easiest part. The hardest part is gonna be in the background, getting with your promoters, and just getting with people who actually do this. There's a lot of people that talk, and that's what I've run into the city is there's a lot of talk behind it, but then I take a step back and look at who's really doing it, and I'm like, exactly. I'm asking people questions that I'm doing. They're not even doing it. So, bro, it's just all about traveling and networking. That's the best advice I can give anyone.
And that's what I respect about you, because it's like, this is not a hobby to you, or at least to me, it looks like this is not a hobby. Like, you really out here trying to like make it. Like, you meeting people. You dropped like 50 tracks within the last like year, bro. Like 4 projects.
Yeah.
And their quality.
Thank you.
They sound good. Like, they sound like industry standard, because that's big. There's a lot of artists who release stuff, but it's like, if this were to pop, can we actually play this in the club, like sound wise,
Is it gonna sound good?
Is the speaker's gonna distort?
Right. You do not want that in the club.
No, absolutely. I know
these DJs, they get the trip, and you play some. You send them some BS over, bro. They ain't even gonna. You do it one time. That second track you send them, they're not even gonna open it,
bro. They're like, nah, man. You gonna have to pay them like $100 just to play that track, man.
They want some quality work.
Their quality work. Can you tell everybody about these projects that came out, man? Because I went back to kind of revisit some of the projects, because it's Tales from the Trap, Trust the Process came out first. That's like the first one of like this series.
Yeah, that's
almost. You know
what
what
started
I mean?
it. Yeah,
and then you kind of got like this almost like this R&B vibe one. It's something. It has like a rose on it.
yeah, Holding You Back.
Yeah. That goes hard, bro. They got
you.
some records on it. But I would say, man, like some of my favorite tracks from the new project too would be the intro. The intro goes so hard.
Yeah, shout out to Janae. Janae, she's on the intro of that.
Oh, that's okay. That's Janae.
Yeah, that's 316 Flavor. Yeah, we were doing a
Okay.
podcast and just sampled it.
Absolutely, bro. Is that a sample on the hook? The Welcome to the
Yeah, it's a sample.
Bro.
It's I can't remember exactly who it is. It's somebody. It's a Memphis artist sample though.
Yeah, and so tell everybody why Memphis is so important to you and Wzrd.
So music, Memphis is just like a staple in music. You know,
Facts.
one of my favorite artists, Dolph. So I'm always
Rest in
gonna
peace.
be I'm always gonna be
Dang.
on like the samples like the 3-6 Mafia.
Yep.
Who was it right now? I think it's Future and somebody else.
I was on the third track, that 3-6 Mafia sample.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yep.
This I think like Future and Metro Boomin. They had just dropped we had dropped ours the next day. They dropped theirs. They used like one of the 3-6 Mafia samples. So
Man,
we know it's
damn.
just an important staple in
crazy.
the music, in music history. So
Absolutely.
Wzrd found some of the best Memphis samples that
Man,
he could
Wzrd would
find.
find some nice samples. Like you guys had the Led Zeppelin sample.
You know,
bro. I was like, what?
Like when I picture Wzrd going through samples, I just picture him like in the computer, in front of the computer for a few hours, and it'll be
Bro.
one that's hard. Like, there's one even better, and that's where Wzrd comes into play. He's gonna find that even better.
Bro, that's how it be, man. When you find that right sample, I can just hear like just a couple bars. Like if I loop that and pitch it down a little bit.
Yeah,
Bam.
now you sound like him. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
can
just
change
like-
this all the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I need. Like
Yeah.
that's it. I'll go ahead and like leave a whole restaurant just to go ahead and get the Shazam the song. Like, all right, I
Yeah.
need to write that down.
Time to go cook.
Yeah, I need to write that down. Exactly, because that the Levy track, that
That's one of
that
my
track
favorites.
is hard because we were going to Florida, me and my girl, and then Robbie, he works up there. He's Wzrd's cousin. He's like, bro, you need to listen to this album before you get on the plane. I was like, I'm gonna download it right now.
Nice.
Because usually when I see XV, like he gives me some tracks on it before I get on the plane.
Shout out Robbie, man.
Yeah, shout out
Shout
Robbie.
out Robbie.
So I was like, all right, bro, I'm gonna do it. And then I downloaded it. Luckily, the Wi-Fi worked.
Nice.
And I was able to get it on the plane. So I was editing some podcasts. I listened to the Wzrd Mac and Hippie Go to Memphis track. I was like, bro, this is like some quality stuff, bro.
Appreciate it.
Because there's some other artists in the city I feel like are pretty good too. But just like I feel like you probably gonna be the next big thing.
Thank you.
Coming
thank
in the order, bro. So how does it feel?
you. It's great. This is pretty much everything I've worked for since I can't say day one because when I started this day one, I was slacking. I was doing what we were talking about, low quality music, and no music videos.
Right.
It was a hobby.
It was a hobby.
Yeah, it was a hobby, and so
Yeah.
now that I'm finally seeing the business side of this stuff pay off, it's
Absolutely.
dope. Just everything that I've ever wanted.
When was the switch?
So the switch was, you can actually see it within my music. It's a lot harder to see now because I deleted a bunch of first projects, low quality.
Okay, that's smart though. Yeah.
I'm getting more recognition now, so I don't want people to think. A lot of people have one song in them. If that one song is trash when they press shuffle, they're not gonna go to that one. That shuffle might take them back to 2018 when I was dropping music.
That's when you started coming?
Yeah. And I don't want that. I don't want them
Dang.
to listen to that 2018 tape. I want them to listen to that 2022, the new
Right.
restored version of Hippie. So
Which makes sense because quality is important to you.
yeah.
So you want to be able to present with that quality image. But also there was a track, I can't remember which track it was, but I was like, man, I really resonate with that because you talked about how when you make tracks, people just see you as Kobe. Like, you know what I mean? They know you.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, I mess with this, but I know you like on a level like before the music. So it's like
Right.
hard for them to connect with that. What's your thoughts about that? Like, how do you deal with that? People just seeing you as Kobe and not as Hippie.
So you really gotta separate yourself from the brand, and a lot of people say that, and you might hear it and you're like, what does that even mean? But I really had to understand that these people who know me as Kobe, these are my friends. Like these are people I grew up with. These are like associates. I wouldn't necessarily say friends. These are associates.
Right.
I either went to school with, I worked a job with for 3 months or something crazy, and then once I realized, all right, so these are people who mess with Kobe. They mess with Kobe whether I go play some basketball,
Right.
whether I drop a shirt, or whether I make this song. So once I separated Hippy from Kobe, I was able to take all those supporters from Kobe that just they mess with me because they see the good individual within me.
Right, exactly.
So then they'll mess with me, and once I took that Hippy K, they came over. The people who messed with me for me came over here. It separated all those people who are just around, and don't really want to support. They just want to be there to see what you're gonna do.
Right.
It really separated those people, and so once I got Hippy K established as like this is what I want to push as the brand, it was so much more easier to separate all these people who just see Kobe.
Right.
Because I'm only Kobe maybe Monday through Thursday, through Friday when I'm going to work my job, when I'm going to help my mom mow the yard or something like that, when I'm working on my personal characters.
Right.
But on the weekend, when it's time to go do a show,
we turn to Hippy.
When it's time to go hit Houston, do all this, Kobe is out the window. I'm not thinking about all these people that are just here to help Kobe. I'm thinking of what can I do to make sure that these people that are looking at Hippy are getting the best version of Hippy.
The best version of Hippy, man.
So I really just had to separate it.
Man, that's dope, bro. I feel like you said, the best version of Hippy, and it's like, how did you get to where you are now? Because like in the tracks, like obviously there's like a lot of things you were going through, maybe even mentally, bro, that you had to overcome. Yeah. So like, just like with that track, the Levy track, is like when it keeps on raining, you know what I mean? Like, when was a time in your life when it just, it rained and it poured? You feel me? That helped you to get to where you are today.
If we're speaking about like today, right now, I'd say I'm currently going through it. Like the keeps on raining. It's almost like when I drop a song, if I wait long enough, that song comes to real life, and I'm sitting there watching like, damn, did I just manifest that? So that's why I really watch my lyrics.
Bro, but that's crazy.
Yeah, there's that Levy one. If it keeps on raining, I'd say definitely within the last 60 days, but within the last like 30 to 45 days, I've had thing after thing after thing happen. They're pretty substantial events in my life to where I had people on the outside kind of looking. I had somebody, a close person to me that he's my digital marketer, and he runs all the ads behind everything. He told me, he said, man, I was the one watching you the most, because I wanted to see what you're gonna do, and just push through that. So that was it. I'd say that's probably one of the hardest. I'm currently going through the hardest stages of my life while I'm elevating. Right. And it's hard to keep that perspective, but I understand. Like that just kind of comes with the harder you work, the more problems you get, bro. So it's when you stop, that's when you kind of just roll over, curl up into a ball.
Exactly. So there's something about you, like obviously like that hustler spirit that you have. You just keep on moving forward. Like, what motivates you to keep going forward even though you're going through these difficult times?
Right now it's my cousin. My cousin, he was just out. He went to a concert in Kansas City, got in a horrible car wreck. He's on the back end of it now. We're about to take him to rehab next week. Working on, all leg movements, working on getting his hand movements back and all that. But he always tells me, and always will tell me, you work too hard not to make it. And I look at him as like a brother. It's my first cousin. It's my aunt's son, but that's the brother I never had. Yeah. And he always tells me, like, you work too hard not to make it. And so that right there, seeing, walking in and seeing him in a hospital bed, laying there with no motion in his legs or arms, and just him mouthing, I love you, and you work too hard. That's all the motivation I need at the end of the day. I don't I got my family that's telling me, hey, you can do this. So once I got that,
man, shout out to your bro. I mean,
definitely.
Cousin, but like a brother, bro. Like, hopefully he recovers soon, bro. But like,
we on the up and up for sure.
Exactly, man. So like, family, is really important to you.
Yeah, I'm really rooted in my family. When something goes wrong in my family, it eats away on the inside because I'm a fixer. So if I can't fix it, it's gonna mess with me.
Exactly, bro. And like in the tracks, bro, like there's a lot of different things like you've talked about and rapped about and whatnot. But like, what would you say is your favorite project that you've released thus far, bro? Because one of my favorite tracks from you, that Motivate song that you had back earlier, that track is hard.
Thank you.
And then on the new track, on the new project, that Minded My Business. And then even the one you released with the Humble Greatness video.
You feel that?
That's like some rap caviar stuff, bro.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
it.
I'd say on the out of all projects in total, maybe the Holding You Back, just because I really had to get deep in my bag on that one.
Yep.
Just like emotional wise, a lot of times, you know, me as the way the world has issued toxic masculinity on us, I try to push away the emotions. So on that one, I really had to bring them all in, and you know, there was nights I'm writing at like 9-10 o'clock at night, dark, and I'm just like, oh man, this is so tough to write, but somebody's gonna resonate with this. So that's always the biggest goal.
Absolutely. So was that the idea for that project, to be more vulnerable?
It was, but it was also to be more versatile, because a lot of people, I would preview music and they're like, okay, you know, I can see what Hippy K is, trap artist, that's cool, that's dope.
Right.
And I kept hearing that, like, oh yeah, you make trap music, keep making trap music, we need more trap music. And I was like, okay, I see you guys like this, but let me show you what I can also do. And boom, push that out, like 7 songs all on the same vibe. So just had to show that I could do more than just trap music.
I like that a lot, especially like the daily track.
Yeah.
I like what you guys did at the end, and you redid the track and you added the drums to it.
That's dope that you caught that. Yeah,
a lot of people think those are too different. I've heard this track, but now I got drums on it.
Yeah.
Because when I was listening to the intro, I'm like, damn, what they put some drums on here?
Right.
You know, and I was like, they didn't put drums on it. You just got to keep listening, man.
That's dope.
But yeah, that one right there, I definitely think is one of my favorites on that one. And there's another record, but I can't remember. But you did talk about on the record pretty much like how it's difficult to think and focus on the past. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, maybe you can kind of expand on that a little bit more, because like I know writing that project, you had to kind of look back in the past, deal with maybe some emotions, some past relationships.
Definitely, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
you just got to remember where you come from always. So like, no matter how far you get, whether you're a you know, in my situation, it's gonna be going as far as I can rapping. In other people's situation, it might be sports, academics, whatever it is. You just got to remember that for 9 out of 10 times, you know, people that are really hungry for it, they didn't used to have this.
Wow.
So you got to remember that you didn't used to have none of this that's around you. So if you want more of it, got to keep doing exactly what you're doing, instead of when you were not doing it in the past, you didn't have none of this. So if you go back to that, you're going to get nothing from it.
Definitely. So that is another thing that motivates you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, all the time. I've always I've never been I've been comfortable in my environment always, but I've always felt like there's more out there that you know, that I don't have access to right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, through the power of God, I'm glad that I can put these words together and rhyme them at the end of each bar. Man. But I really, you know, I feel like that was my gift, so that's what's going to take me out to go do this, go do that.
That's what's up, man. I know, like, even like for me, like as an artist, man, I never liked the way that my voice sounded. You know what I mean? Like when I was rapping the earlier days, so like I knew there was something, like I was supposed to use my voice for something, for what I was going to be meant to do. In the beginning, I thought it was to entertain, you know, to rap. But now I'm realizing it's to educate and to empower. And so it just kind of switched like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I'm curious to, like, for you, like, when did you realize, like, man, this is what I really want to do? And when did you, like, pretty much figure out, like, man, I want to be a rapper?
Man,
you know?
Once I realized that, people are going to listen to you whether you say bad or good. So I realized people just take influence. That's all they do. That's kind of like what we're here as humans, just to be influenced. So once I realized, like, okay, there's two different ways with this. Like, you know, you can influence people to go shoot, go kill, rob and steal, or you can influence people to just, like, you know, bow their head, go have a good time, smoke a little bit. You know, you here to have fun, go have fun. So I once I realized that, like, I could tell these people, hey, bro, what you doing? You tripping? You know, you doing too much. Because there's a couple conversations I've had with some people who look up to me, I actually say, and I got to tell them, like, hey, bro, you really want to make some music? Look, man, sit back, relax. Rap about your past. Don't rap about what you're doing right now.
Rap about what you've been through.
Yeah, rap about what you've been through, and it's gonna be easier for you, for sure.
Man, it can be, you know, but to be able to do that, you gotta have a level of vulnerability and, like, a level of awareness too. But like what you were saying earlier too, you said that word toxic masculinity, right? Which is a trending word, I would say, like in the last, you know, few years or so or whatever. But what's your thoughts about toxic masculinity? Man,
I mean, I think, because especially nowadays, I feel like media that's getting put out into the world, and you know, the music and the TV and stuff. A lot of it, I feel like, is aimed to kind of tone down men and make them a little more, feminine. Which,
bro,
there's nothing wrong with that if you want to be feminine as a man. But just from my point of view, I think that it's a lot.
It's an attack on men.
Yeah. I feel like it's okay to have that little chip on your shoulder, like, hey, I'm the man. Like,
yeah, right.
Because you don't get that so much. You don't get that much anymore.
Right. But I think at the end of the day, like, being a man, there is that level of you want to be peaceful, but you still want to have your sword just in case.
Yeah.
You feel me? And so then it's like, I'm curious to, like, how do you balance out the two? Because you seem very humble. You don't really seem like you have a big ego. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really give off that kind of vibe.
I think it just comes a lot from experience. Because I had a lot of people. If you would have asked some of the people around me like 5 years ago, like, Hippy is just like, he's got to be like all on the women and all this and that. And then I had to realize, like, oh, okay, I'm just doing that because it looks good. It just looks good to have all the women around you and stuff. But now I take a step back and I look at it like, I could be me without having to be so like in your face about it. Yeah, like,
right.
Let's go do this, let's go do that. I'm the biggest fan around here. I realized, like, man, once you just step back and realize you got to get comfortable with yourself. That's really what it is too. Bro. Like, once you realize, hey, I like women gonna like me when I like myself even more.
Tell me, man.
That's when that's when it really takes over, and you're not too worried about how your homies are looking at you. Like, you want to be like, the big guy, because all your homies are looking at you. And at that point, a lot of those people that I have around me, they scared of women. The ladies will come, like, they get that vibe. They understand. They want, I can't say they as in all,
right.
But
some of them just don't trust them from their own past, right?
From my experience, the less in your face you are about it, like, if you're just around a group, there might be 3-4 guys, right. 4 girls. The more like relaxed and put back you are, the more interested. That just not even the girls, but just people in general.
So you giving us some game real quick.
Yeah, like, just the more you lay back and be yourself and not try to be all in everybody's face, they get interested. They're like, who is this person?
The mysterious.
Yeah.
It's like, who's this? So is this how you like when you're out there? Like, I'm not sure if you're single or if you're married or in a relationship.
Oh yeah, I'm single. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So like, is this something like, that's what I was curious about as well, like being in a relationship and then at the same time pursuing the rap game?
Didn't work. We're gonna take that back to holding you back.
Man, didn't work. And so why, if you feel comfortable, like, why didn't it work? Was it because like she didn't believe that you could actually make it to, like, you know what I mean, like mainstream, or was it just more of like the time of like traveling, going to Houston, recording?
I'd say it was definitely within me. I needed to find different time management, because at that point I was kind of like running in circles. What can I do for my music to help myself? And it's not that it can't work. It's just that didn't work. You'd have to, you really got to find you a partner that believes in everything you can and that understands. It takes time. So we can have our, weekly lunch dates, dinner dates. We can have our weekend.
He'd be taking them out to lunch.
But like Monday through Friday, or maybe Monday through Friday while I'm working. All right, that's your time. But on the weekends, it was a time thing. I never had enough time, because I don't know if I ever will have enough time. I got it until I actually make it. I'm always thinking, man, I don't have enough time. I need to do this right now.
I like that though, man. That's really dope. What do you feel like when you say make it? How will you know when you have made it?
So my mom's in the process of, she's about to retire here anytime soon. And so when I know I made it, is like, my mom wants to go get a beach house in Florida. She wants to be a snowbird, to where like
What's a snowbird?
To where they chase the warm weather, or they leave from the cold. So she'd be here in Kansas maybe like 8 months out the year, and then when it starts getting cold here, she's got a condo out in Florida.
Nice.
And how I know I made it is when my mom has whatever she wants, because I'm her son. I want to give that everything. And then 2, my sister, she's a teacher, and like right now she's in the running for Teacher of the Year in Kansas City. And in my mind, I'm like, if I made it, that wouldn't even be a question. You know, I would already be having you set up to everything you need to become Teacher of the Year.
Bro.
So how I know I make it is my family, and my family includes like my close friends, Wzrd, you know, all those people, that my family is doing good. Once I could step back and like, all right, all y'all are good, I made it.
Dang. Look at that. So I'm gonna assume that maybe definitely mom and sister and maybe some other people had a big influence on you when it comes to this rapping.
Oh yeah, I mean just in terms of when it comes to I came out of a dark place. So when it comes to me still being here today, those two right there, they wouldn't let me quit as many times as I tried. Right. They would never just like, all right, you don't have a job right now to fund your music. Cool, just lay down. Get your ass up. Go get a job. What are you doing? How are you going to record this week? How are you going to get your next video?
They're telling you to get a job to record.
Yeah, like that. My mom would always tell me. She was like, how do you think you're going to, this is when I didn't have a job. She's like, how do you think you're going to make it, you know, with no money? Or how do you think you're going to go record? Yeah, that's a nice song. I'll show her, you know, the instrumental, and I'm rapping over the instrumental.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, yeah, that's a nice song. How are you going to give, back in the day I was recording with Humble. How are you gonna give Angelo the whatever 40, 60? Right. How are you gonna give him that money and you have no money in your pocket? I'm not gonna do it for you. And it was always that like, I'm not gonna do it for you part that just got me up. Like they kept pushing me. They never let me just roll over as many times as I wanted to.
That's love. That's real love.
It's real love.
That's love. So mom supported it.
Supported it for long. She always she knew I could do something with my words. Just never knew it'd be like rap. She thought I was gonna do children's books.
Wow, hey, we gonna do the children's books once we make it.
Yeah,
right.
We're
gonna go back. We're gonna go back to the Barnes and Noble, Hippy K,
absolutely.
HIWP, out of the K.
We're gonna get the book. You can press play. I'm reading it to you,
bro. What other rappers making children's books? That's a whole nother avenue, bro. Like. My dad, he wrote a children's book, man. Okay. So, I mean, that would be really dope if you actually did that. But like I was saying, though, man, I really feel like your personality is really easy to get along with. And I think that's really important for being an artist in the music industry because like what Angelo told me, you really got to be liked.
Yeah, really do. You got to be
liked. People got to like you, like just on a personal front. Yeah. You know, the executives, the artists, the other artists you work with, the consumers. You gotta be like
everybody, yeah. That's a good point, yeah.
And so just like, you know, I feel like people respect you, they like you, they see what you're doing. Obviously, sonically, the music sounds good, man. What do you feel like, you know, is gonna be next for you? Like, what's your plans next, like kind of moving forward so you can make it?
My next steps is just travel. Now I'm really focusing on building that core fan base and just really finding those supporters that whether I drop a T-shirt or a new song, new video, I want, you know, if I got 1,000 people attached to the Hippy K name, I want to make sure that we're out of 1,000 of those people, that audience is 98%, 99% consumers, because that's where I'm running in with my digital marketer, my homie Manny.
Right.
We're really trying to. That's my next step because I know if I can drop anything. No matter what it is, like music, T-shirt, hat. If I can drop anything and it gets consumed, then I'm good. You know, that's all I really need. That's the long game on any artist that's trying to come up right now. Is find consumers.
You know, fans.
You got to really find like that market for it because a lot of times the people that you're around, your homies, are not going to be your consumers at all. So you have to really put yourself out there and find your supportive group.
That's a bar though, bro. Because your homies are not gonna be your consumers. They're gonna support you.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna be your main consumers, man. Because it's just like they're the homie.
Right.
And so your consumers are gonna be the people who really don't even know who Kobe is. You know what I mean? They just know Hippy.
Right.
You know, so like people out of state. Because that's one thing. Like shouts out to XV. He always told me, man, you gotta move. You gotta travel. And so that's why I feel like he will be the next to blow because. You're always moving. Because if you just stay in Wichita, you know, we love Wichita, but it's a musical desert.
Yeah, definitely.
With all due respect. And I want to kind of go back to what you were saying earlier just to kind of give it a little attention so people can understand who Hippy K really is through the struggles and the hard times and whatnot. But you said you were in a dark place, you know what I mean? And in some of the music too, you know, it sounds like, you know, it might be a little too personal, but it sounds like you were dealing with some kind of an addiction.
Yeah.
And I'm going to assume that you got over it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like maybe there's some viewers out there who are still struggling with an addiction, maybe similar, bro, like for real. And you might be able to provide some wisdom to how you got to the other side.
Definitely. I was really stuck on Xanax for a while, a long time, and a couple years, few years. And I don't think I was ever going to stop if I saw what it was doing to me. Because I mean, at that point, when I feel like a lot of people in addiction, they have that mindset of, I don't really matter. Like it's not really, I'm here for everybody else, but what's going on with me? Let me just pop this perk, pop this in, and that's my problems. That's how I deal with mine.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna be around for everybody else. Keep that smile on your face and do this and that.
Right.
But once I really took a step back and saw like my mom's getting hurt by this, my sister's getting hurt. They're not even taking anything. You know, they're just watching the process. I'm thinking that I'm only hurting myself by doing this. I'm not even thinking I'm hurting myself. I'm just trying to drown the emotions and not face my emotions as a man. I'm trying to run from them. And so then once I realized, like, damn, I'm hurting people that are around me and they're not even doing anything. My mom's working her job daily, doing what she does. My sister's working her job daily, doing what she does. They're both doing the exact thing that they're supposed to do.
Yeah, man.
So why do they have pain? And I'm like, oh, I'm bringing them pain because they love me. And I'd say 100. I don't care about 99%. I'd say 100% of everybody in this world, whether you have addiction or you feel lonely, people love you. You know, you have love because you came from somewhere.
Somewhere, man.
You might not feel that love all the time, but it's when you really take a step back and look around, like, oh, okay, these people do care for me. If I wasn't here tomorrow, then these people would be hurt. I'd be okay. I'd be this and I'd be that. But these people that love me and support me, they'd be hurt. And that's really what got me to the other side of it, was because I couldn't continue to cause pain in other people's life when I know what pain is. Like I'm feeling pain and I'm running from pain by taking these pills and by drinking. So if I'm running from it, why would I bring this pain onto somebody else that I supposedly love?
And so, like, in the moment of all that, you're like, man, I'm not affecting anybody else. This is just me. I'm trying to drown out these feelings. I'm trying to suppress these emotions since I don't want to deal with it. But it's like, I feel like, that's really, like, hard to be able to face those emotions. And you did that, bro. So it's like, that's, to me, like being a man. Like, you're like, hey, I'm not about to run away from these feelings. I'm about to really address them head on. Yeah. And then until you became aware of, like, damn, these decisions are now affecting the people to who I want to be able to impact by rapping and making it, because that's what you talked about. Like, I want to, get my mom out and so she can be, you said, a snowbird, which is a new term I'm learning today. Yeah. You know what I mean? And your sister, bro. So, like, I think that's some really good advice there for somebody struggling, bro. But I'm glad that you got out of that, bro. And how does it feel now?
I mean, it feels amazing because I wake up Monday through Sunday. It doesn't matter what day or as of now, I'm able to make enough money off my streams and stuff to where I can't live like a great life or, nothing extra, but I could put gas in my car, keep food in my fridge, and throughout the shows too. So, it feels great because I know I wasn't going to be able to do that if I wasn't at my best. I was going to say 100%, but I'm not at 100%. But if I was at like, back then, I was probably at like 30%, 40% with the drugs in my body, drinking. Tuesday night, I'm drinking. And so it just feels great to be able to look back and see how far I actually got to come.
Why do you feel like so many young men in our community do that?
They're running from their emotions. Yeah. They're just running. They might feel that little string in their heart getting pulled when they start to think of something. And they're like, man, I know how to get rid of that. Go, or, pop a pill.
Damn.
And within X amount of time, you might have had 6 hours that you needed to be awake for. Now you take this, you might still be awake them 6 hours, but I'll tell you right now, you're not there. You're not facing what you need to face, and it's such a vicious cycle because that's only gonna happen again if it doesn't happen tomorrow. Bro. Now you got next week, you got to face the same exact thing.
Yeah, man.
And so until you actually face it without the bottle or without a prescription, once you actually face it, then you realize like, damn, that was dark, that was scary, but I can get through that.
Man.
And so I just, once you see that light at the end of the tunnel, you start running towards it.
And I feel like that's why you had that light, like even when you smile and as you speak, like because you know that from experience, bro. Like you came from the dark. We can't know the light until we go through the dark.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you walk through hell instead of complaining, being a victim, sitting there, drinking and trying to suppress all these emotions, bro. So like I feel like that's what that project is about. To me, like when I listen to it, the one with the rose. I keep forgetting the name. Yeah, Holding You Back. The one with I like the cover too, but yeah, Holding You Back. But it's like, what were the things holding you back other than like maybe the addiction?
Hey, chasing these girls, bro.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
So like, I'd say I don't want to say which relationship it was, just in case. Y'all don't want to.
Yeah, we don't need no names.
Fingers.
Yeah.
But there was definitely couple relationships, so it's more. If you think it's about you, it's not. It's about another one. It was like there's a couple of them to where, I'm focusing on this girl way more than my music. Wow. And like this girl isn't gonna give me. Excuse me. This girl's not gonna buy my mom a condo in Florida. This girl's not gonna buy my sister all the stuff she needs in her classroom for Teacher of the Year. Okay. What she's gonna do is she's gonna make sure I'm happy enough to where, this is just the situation I was in. She's going to make sure I'm happy enough to where I don't leave her. And so I wasn't paying attention to that. And, I'm just trying to, I was a pleaser. I was just trying to, make sure she's happy. I respect the women in my life. So if you're my woman, I'm going to take care of you, make sure that you're good, make sure you eat every day. At that point, I didn't have that in return. Like, hey, you haven't made a song in 2-3 months. You plan on making something? Like I want my girl to be able to say,
hold you accountable, like how your mom did, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure, bro. So like you say you were a pleaser, so like, I used to be a people pleaser too. So it's like, maybe there might have been a little bit of codependency in the relationship, who knows? But like at the end of the day, she didn't really support the music, with all due respect to whoever this is, but it's just not a right fit. Yeah. So then you realize that hopefully sooner than later. And then you were like, all right.
It's very one-sided. If, say, for example, this isn't exactly what it was, but say she wanted to be like a hairdresser. Okay, well, me on the back end of being your partner. Okay. What can I do to help you become a hairdresser? Like, you need to go in school. All right, go enroll in school. Let's bring out the whiteboard. And sit there and take steps on what is going to get you to where you want to be. Mm-hmm. But that's the type of person I am with my friends, my girlfriends, all that. Just relationships I'm in. I'm always looking to like, all right, let's better ourselves. What can we do next, man? And so when that starts getting one-sided, and I like how I said in just relationships in general, because whether it's a friendship or a girlfriend, once I start feeling that being one-sided, like I'm here to support you, but you're not supporting me. I'm out of there,
bro. That's the key. You gotta set that boundary. Yeah. Because if you stay in a relationship that's one sided, bro, that's what a toxic relationship is. Yeah. You're putting in everything, and they're not giving you anything in return. And if they do, it's like this much.
Yeah, it's just to keep you there type. Yeah.
It's to keep you there. That's what it kind of goes into, that narcissistic kind of relationship or abusive one, man. So it's like, it's cool that you see that, you put out the boundary, I'm out. But now, people see you moving, people see you rapping, and particularly the women see you moving. Yeah. How do you deal with, how do you deal with the women when you're trying to still focus on the prize, which is obviously to get your mom that house?
So, and the song is not out yet. I just recorded it, gonna get a feature on here. But one of the bars was gaining groupies, so I know I got to keep my standards. And that's just, I know, like you said, I know the ultimate end goal in this. The money and the women aren't really the end goal. Like, it's not. I mean, I know money's gonna come with it, and I know women are gonna come with it. But like I said, I'm focused on that goal up here, is where after I relax, my mom in her condo, and have my sister with iPads for all her students and all that. Right. Then I want to focus on myself, so I can't stop after that. After that, I want to, go get my big old mansion and go get this and that. Mm-hmm. So I really keep my focus on the end prize. I put on my blinders and, girl over here shaking ass, girl over here shaking ass. Don't get me wrong, I might every once in a while, but man, I know that like right now, to do what I want to do, bro,
You know what it comes to mind, bro? Is that video that Humble Greatness did for you, that Angelo did with the women. Man, remind me of the name of the track, but it's pretty much the temperature.
Yeah.
That's why I call it temperature, but it's called You Feel That.
Yeah.
I was like, if I would have named it, I would call it temperature.
Temperature, yeah.
Just like,
it's
bam.
like a temperature check. Yeah.
Right, just temperature. I would just call it temperature, but like, you got a lot of women in there. I pictured like how you said, like there's women here and that, but at the same time, some of them can be distractions. Yeah. But you still focus. Laser focus.
I'm damn near scared because I lost so much time in my past relationships. Like I'm talking years. I had a hiatus of like 2 to 3 years, and this is and I've had people shout out Nick Gaskill. I've had him actually come up to me, and we really didn't have like a cool friendship level before. We're homies now. He's come to plenty of shows to where I was able to build that relationship with him. But I remember he had told me, it was like, man, I thought we lost you for a minute. This is when I had came back and dropped Tells from the trap. It's like, man, I thought we lost you. I'm like, what do you mean, bro? Like, what do you mean?
Really? Like after the trusted process?
This is after I had dropped that. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean you thought you lost? He said, bro, I thought you weren't rapping anymore.
Really?
Like, this is like 2-3 years.
Dang.
So I'm like, damn, bro, like you've been listening for that long, waiting on new music and stuff. But when he said that, it really opened my perspective. I was like, or changed my perspective on who's listening. Because now, and then, so.
People listening, man.
And that 2 to 3 years I was messing with a girl, trying to make sure she's good.
Bro,
and
man.
I wasn't even focused on putting out music or nothing. So it makes it a lot easier now to where, like, when these girls come up to me and start talking about this, hey, we can have our fun.
Right.
We can do this, we can do that, but you're not gonna get more than like a week out of me. Like I got to work.
Man,
I got to work.
And see, honestly, man, I feel like that's what happened to me. Like, man, I used to make like 3 beats a week, bro. I was really in it, but like I got in a relationship. But at the end of the day, I think for me, like I don't think it was necessarily like their fault, but I did like lose a love for music at one point, man. And it was like, damn, I was like, I gotta figure out to get that spark back just for like for hip hop. I started listening to other genres, but like, how do you keep the spark? You know what I mean, for your love for hip hop? Because hip hop goes through this ups and its downs, and like obviously there's some artists that come out and you're just like, what the heck, like really? You know what I mean? So it's like, what keeps you to still have that fire to want to be able to make hip hop music? Because for me, I lost the fire, just for me, I still love hip hop, but as far as creating it, especially rapping, I was like, dang, I lost it. And I remember I would always ask Win, I'm like, bro, how do you make these beats and not rap on them? And then I realized like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it now.
I'd say, so every Friday, I'm on Apple Music. I like, that's what I listen to my music on is Apple Music. Mm-hmm. Every Friday they have a new music mix. And so it's just where they collect a whole bunch of songs they think you'll like, and they show them to you. These aren't just like regular songs. These are songs that are doing some numbers, getting pushed into the algorithm. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's in your face.
Right.
And there might be 25, 30 songs out there. There's always some like New Money Man on there. There's always some, YTB Fat or something. There's always people that music. Yeah. There's always some good music from artists that are working hard and make good music. And then that might be, out of those 30 songs, I might be like 5 to 6 songs I save. The other 24 to 25, I'll listen to it and I'm like, what is this? Like, I know good music outside of me making music. Just as a fan of music, as a fan of rap music, I know good rap music. I know good melodies, good beats. Like, It's been done time after time. So once I hear it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a hit right here. Man, I'll hear like 26 of these songs, but like, this shit is ass. This is what's getting pushed right now.
Yeah,
and no disrespect to the artist.
No disrespect to the artist.
Because, they're eating off of it. But as somebody looking from the outside in, I'm like, I make better music than this. Bro. So I just got to keep making this music until I get heard. Because when I write these songs, bro, it takes me an hour max. Like, I write, let's see. So every song on Holding You Back, probably, I'd say the longest song might have been that Architect, just because I really wanted to.
Yeah, that was a hard one, Architect.
I really wanted to get that opening bar down, like, because I wanted to be an architect as a kid for real.
Bro, yeah, that's what it was. Like, you were really trying to. So I'm guessing drawing was the thing.
Yeah, like the little sketches and math was really the thing. Like,
okay, mathematician over here, bro.
I loved math. I loved just numbers. I could grab the number over here.
So you're not trying to stop to the bank account looks like a phone number.
Yeah,
you feel me? Don't check me, check the bank, check your bank account.
For real.
I was like, this one of the lines that was that I like I like lines that make sense, but also got like little humor to it.
Yeah,
and I think it was on the second track. He was like popping like Granny's grease.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people can relate to that because people will have their grandmas and grandpas or whatnot, bro. But like,
shout out Grandma's Fried Chicken.
Man, Grandma's fried. Is she still with us?
Yeah, she's still with us, going strong. Yeah, she's out there with my cousin right now, watching over him. She playing grandma role, making sure everybody good.
That grease be popping,
and she be in there, throw the chicken in there. Stir it up with her hand.
Man, that's crazy.
Just do that?
But that's another dope track too, bro. I don't know where Wzrd be getting these samples from. Man.
That man is a genius, like a nerd genius. When I say nerd, I call like a lot of the people that are
I know what you mean though.
I'll be like, bro, you're a nerd for that, and it's because that's so smart,
bro.
You gotta be like, you gotta have something not right up here to be able to do what Wzrd does. If you're a normal person, you cannot do that.
Exactly.
You cannot hear like a string. This man will take out one pluck of a guitar sound, and that's the sample.
Bro,
and he'll repeat that.
Bro, I know exactly what that's all that it needs.
That's
like
not normal.
When you're a producer, you start thinking in the mind of like, oh, that's a nice sound.
Yeah,
I'm gonna record that on my phone, and I'm gonna put that in the studio. And then I'm gonna go ahead and make a beat out of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, cause I remember when I was in Egypt, I was with this homie I was with, and we were there on the Nile River. We were on the boat, and somebody was playing a track, and I'm just like, what song is that, bro? Like, I didn't even care that we was on the river. Yeah. I'm just like, I don't even think about nothing. I'm like, what is that, bro? And like, I was like, can y'all please like play that song again?
Yeah.
And it was like the end, and I was like, whoa. It was just like about like 4 seconds.
Yeah,
I was like, we just looped that, and when I got home, that's the first thing I did. I was like,
dope.
I'm about to make this beat, bro. I was
I feel like you just you gotta have like the ear for it. Like how I can make this song in like an hour. I could make a hit in an hour,
bro.
It's like I feel like that's kind of like that producer point.
There's an ear for it as well.
Yeah.
Like, and two, like beat selection, man. Let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that's big as an artist, as a rapper, is picking the right beats, man. There's like a lot of artists who could be really dope, but the beats they pick.
Hey, can I tell you a funny story, bro?
Yeah,
all right, so I'll make sure I stay on the topic of beat selection. My barber, this is an old barber. I stopped going to him because he was messing up my hairline.
Okay.
So
yeah, we got cut him out.
Yeah, I stopped going to him. He starts cutting one of my producer's hairs. He doesn't know that this guy sitting in his chair makes the beats to, a few of, like over 5 to 10 of my songs he's produced. Okay. But I just don't think he realizes it, and he's cutting this guy, and he's somehow I get brought up in conversation about like Hippy, or he had asked my producer, hey, what you doing this weekend?
Okay.
I like to bring my producers to these Houston trips just because we hit the studio. Hey, bro, let's cook up.
That's
they make
dope.
the beat, I'm writing, and so he's cutting his hair, getting him ready for this Houston trip, and he was like, yeah, Hippy's cool. I like his music and everything. He just needs better beat selection. He doesn't even realize he's talking to my producer, bro.
Damn. Who was the producer?
Dutch. Shout out Dutch. Yeah.
Oh, Dutch.
Yeah.
Okay. White cat, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I think I met him over there at the Humble Grading Studios. Yep.
Okay. More than likely. Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
He good people. That's a dope.
Yeah,
that's a dope
bro.
guy right there.
Does. He goes by Filthy Beats.
Yeah. Filthy Beats.
Hey, he got some nice beats.
He made that Walking Testimony. My favorite song is Walking Testimony, just because that's real life. So bro. He made that beat. That's one of my favorite. And that Ben Moving. He made Ben Moving.
Okay.
So yeah.
Was that what project was that on?
Ben Moving was on
the Tales from the Trap.
Yeah. Tales from the Trap.
Okay, dang, man, that's what's up. And then Wzrd Mac, he did the whole like Memphis.
Yeah, he did. There's 2 to 3 songs he didn't do. Majority of the songs he did. I kind of just outsourced to keep my placements right with my producers and stuff, because I like keeping everything in house. So if I can include anybody,
that's dope.
But yeah, so like my beat selection, I really sit there, and if I can't even think of like a hook or I mean it really starts with the hook, but if I can't think of a hook within like 30 seconds
it's
to
like
a minute, it might be a hard beat, like it'll be a dope beat.
But it's like if that don't work, then I'm out.
My brain works quick when it comes like with music. So if I can't even like hum the melody that I want, it's just not gonna work.
But yeah, bro, like you said, like if you can't even hum the melody, then the beat is not gonna be a good fit.
Yeah, it's gotta almost like speak to you, like, oh, okay,
Bro,
say this on the beat.
Because I'm guessing, like, what's your process when it comes to making a hit? You know, if you could maybe, if you feel comfortable, share a little bit. Like, what does the process go into when you're making a track? Do you write it first? Do you find the beat then rap?
Okay. So I find the beat first for sure. Definitely. Just because I go off that process of like, if I can't think of a hook to this beat, then it's not for me. So I gotta find the beat first. I don't have to, but this is my process. I enjoy is finding the beat first.
Yeah.
And then I'll get to humming my melody out, or a lot of times it'll just come to me, and I'll have like a catchy. At least if I have like at least one catchy bar in there, then I'll focus that around the hook. But I always start with the hook. Whether the song starts with a verse or a hook.
Yeah, man, that hook is like 70% of the track.
Yeah, because then you can, if you want the song to start with a verse, you can just move your hook over to where the hook needs to go. But people are not listening to your verse like you think. They like my Wzrd. He tells me all the time, hey bro, kind of simplify it down, dumb some of these bars down. You could have had 10 songs out of this whole one song, and I should. I don't because I don't like. I don't like doing that. I can redo all that whole different. But the people don't really listen to the verse like that. They want to find that catchy ass hook with a bar in it. If you have a bar in your hook,
that's
it. Good, yeah, because that's the main point they're listening to.
Dang, how do you feel about that? People are not really listening to the verses.
I love it because when somebody comes up to me and tells me a bar, I'm like, oh, you're a listener. You're not just playing this shit to say you play it. You're a listener. Yeah,
like you actually listening to the lines.
Like this would probably stop 90% of the fake love I get. All love to me is love. I don't care if it's fake
I know what
real.
You mean though. I know.
But if somebody came up to me and was like, hey bro, I loved your music. You make some dope music. This would stop 90% of it. So I was like, what was your favorite bar? So if I even asked them, I could probably simplify to say, what's your favorite song? Or what's your favorite tape?
Bro.
I don't know.
Bro, but that's real though, because then it puts them on the spot and it's like, well, what tracks do you like?
Yeah.
The one with the one you're rapping in front of the garbage center.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd be like, well, what track was that called? You know what I mean? Like,
so it takes a lot of it out, but I mean, whether you listen all the way or not, I appreciate this press and play.
Exactly, man. Because some people do just listen because of maybe they friends or whatnot. Yeah. But what kind of audience do you feel like you want to try to gravitate towards? Who do you feel like would be your audience? Because I know, like, even like shouts out to XV again. Like he talked about like one of the things he didn't have was like kind of the backing of the city, and so when his peers, like whether it be J. Cole or even like a Wiz, they had like the Pittsburgh, Fayetteville behind them. Like, do you feel like you have Wichita behind you, or are you still kind of looking to find that right audience?
So I've got the people, not all of them, I've got most of the people in Wichita that I'm comfortable with supporting me in terms of I know who spends money out here on these shows, and that's my main for when it comes to city wise. My main thing is I want to be the artist that can sell the most tickets in this city, because at that point I know up here with all the shadow messages and stuff, I know up here that I'm a marketable artist if I'm out here selling 50, 100 tickets type stuff, just off the strength of me, no promoter or nothing. So I think that's why I focus on. I could have easily been making drill music, like, bro. I call it trap music, but like I don't really even make trap music like that. I always I associate trap music with a lot of negativity in the message, and so I try not to be too negative. I talk about drugs, talk about women, talk about all that cars and all that other stuff, but I don't really like to talk about like killings and shooting people because my main demographic, hey, these shooters out here aren't buying tickets. These killers out here are not buying tickets. They're not buying shirts. They shooting people in white tees and stacked jeans. It's a different demographic.
The consumers are not trying to. You're completely right.
So I want to market you know, I'm not even gonna hold you. I want to market to the guy that's in his room,
the suburban kid out there who's spending his mom's money,
absolutely,
buying those V-Bucks.
That's who's gonna. Hey, I just dropped buying those V-Bucks. Say me and Fortnite do a collab, and I just got now I got a Fortnite collab.
Bro, Hippy K, Fortnite.
Shirt.
We're speaking that into existence right now on the podcast.
Them kids are gonna eat that up, and
man,
they're not coming out of pocket. And one thing a parent does not like is, especially when I'm speaking on this demographic, those parents do not like their kids asking for something over and over and over. Like, Mom, Dad, I need this new Hippy K Fortnite shirt. They don't want to hear that 10 times. Once they hear that 2-3 times, all right, bring it up. Let me see your phone. I'll get it for you. When's your birthday? When's the next?
We'll get you the Hippy K Fortnite shirt.
And so, I mean, I really focus on like who's gonna buy, because that's the only way that I'm gonna be able to get out of my current situation. Right. Is having supporters that know that, all right, this is worth $20. Yeah. And it's worth more than $20. I'm always give, if it's worth 20, I'm gonna market 18. That's just the type of person I am.
If it keeps on raining, I might have to up these prices, bro.
Yeah, like
you know, that's what he says. Like I can't have to up the prices. And so then the thing is though, like I think that's what makes you not a hobbyist. You know what I mean? Because you're thinking of the business of like how much is this actually gonna bring in? Yeah. Like, cause when I was rapping back in high school, I remember my mom. She told me like, "Well, you haven't made any money from this," and it was kind of real. It was a
That's
revelation.
Just a mom thing,
and I'm just like, you know what? You're right. Like I've been doing this for the X amount of years. We've made $0 on the rapping itself. So I was like, all right, let me start making beats. But like for you, like it sounds like almost like you recognize like, okay, this is gonna make money. And obviously that's not the main focus, but obviously it's going to help you to get to the main goal.
Yeah, I'm trying to do this like full time every day. Wake up, something with music,
bro. And that's the other thing too. A lot of people, like artists, feel like, oh, well, you got to make millions of dollars, but you could do rapping full time and make, even if it's just like $50,000 a year.
Like, you know what I mean? Like people will work a job and not even make $50,000 a year, but they're still living in their apartment. They're still eating. Yeah. So I'm like, if I could do that off of music. Bro, that's lit.
Exactly. You just gotta work the numbers backwards. Like, let's say if you wanted to say, hey, like I'm straight up, I just made $70,000 a year making music, like after tax. Just do the math. Like, okay, well, I need to figure out how many T-shirts to sell, how many shows to have, and then bam, you know what I mean? It's a math problem, and you're good with numbers.
Hey, that would be so crazy. Actually, drawing up a formula of like, hey, so this my goal this year. This might be some game for it.
Okay, yeah, like, let's get.
You know, if you're like, all right, at the end of this year, I made 20 to 30 last year. I want to make 40 to 50. Right. You can really make a formula like, okay, so really I need to sell X amount of shirts. I need to do X amount of books, shows. Yep. And I need to cut down on over here, and I will have that much. But that's a whole formula,
bro. And I feel like you kind of are already doing that without even knowing.
Yeah, without realizing, you know what I mean? Probably. Yeah,
that's the crazy thing. And so that's why I feel like what makes it like natural, because you know you got industry plants and different things like that, but like you're actually doing that with like subconsciously. The formula, the whiteboard, working it backwards is already in your mind, bro. Yeah. Like, and that's what I think is super dope. And I don't know if you realize that what you're doing.
Oh no, I just realized right now.
You know what I mean? Like you have a formula, man.
I was like, well, I'm about to go home, bro. Put this on paper,
bro. For real, because when I saw how much music you were dropping and the quality, I was like, he got a formula.
Yeah, I was just going off. Off intuition. Hey, I should drop right now. Let's do this.
That's cool. Let's talk a little bit about intuition for a second, because I'm glad you brought that word up. But like, how do you listen to your intuition? Like, how do you know when it's speaking to you?
Man, I get that gut feeling for sure. Mm-hmm. Like, if intuition is telling me to do this, my gut will tell me if it's good or bad to do. Because intuition is always gonna be there. Like, you know, trying to. You're always thinking of what can I do, and you always feel like, you know, you might get persuaded to do this or do that, but only you're gonna know, like, all right, once you start doing it, you might get, if something bad, you're gonna get that feeling like, oh no, like I can't do this, like I shouldn't be doing this. And if you ever get to the point where you're like, I shouldn't be doing this, but you're still doing it, you're already lost. So once you get to the point where you're like, I shouldn't be doing this, you gotta just turn around and then that's vice versa. if it's something good, if there's some good intuition, you know, calling you, you're like, I need to do this, and then you analyze like, all right, this is what could happen if I do it, and there's no negatives,
bro.
Like, yeah, bro. I mean, I take last booking shows a lot of the times, like a lot. If they hit me,
what's the last booking show? If you could tell the people,
it's just like last minute, like a last minute booking.
Okay.
Because I try to keep all my shows like at least 2 to 3 months ahead of time. So right now I'm scheduled out until September, and that's how I like to operate. The show I have next weekend I knew about 2.5 months ago. So I like to just keep them lined up.
So you got to plan. See, that's the formula I'm talking about.
Yeah,
you're planning out here, bro. Because when we were rapping, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like I could do the recording and the creative side, make the music. I didn't have any issues with that. But for like me, at least when I was back in high school, it was just like the shows. Like, maybe you can help out some of these artists. Like, how does one get shows? You know what I mean? Like, is it like, what's your process to being able to book a show, especially like out of the city?
Yeah. It goes straight back to that intuition too, with the so you could tell if this is a good person you should be messing with or not. Because I can't say all, but 90%
get that vibe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like in 90% of shows you get booked for out of time, you're not gonna know the promoter. You're not gonna 9 out of 10 times you're not gonna know anybody there. You might know one other rapper or the person that put you on the show, but you're not gonna know anybody there. So you just kind of gotta, once you network with those promoters and you find your good promoters, like you find your people that they're gonna want you to spend money with them. That's almost a guarantee until you're at the like XB level, or you're at a level of you could sell tickets in anywhere you go. It doesn't matter.
People say, "Hey, Hippy's coming," and
like I'm coming to Phoenix. It's a guaranteed 50 ticket sales. Well, at that point, then you don't have to pay. But as of right now, you got to pay to play. I got to pay to play to do what I do for
it's a sacrifice though right now.
And so, luckily for me, I'm able to read a person's character pretty good. And so if I'm spending money with them, I'm expecting them to do everything that they told me. Shout out Big Yogi. If I spend money with Big Yogi, I know I'm about to get in front of 1,000 people. I know I'm about to get a high quality flyer. I know he's gonna promote the mess out of it, and he's gonna give me the best deal he can. I'm gonna pay, but it might not be.
Exactly.
It's gonna push off the connection.
You put money into the music, like what you just said. You're investing actual money. If you're not investing money, it's just a hobby.
Yeah.
It really is, because like money is like what we see as value in this capitalistic world we live in. So like you invest in that money and that time, bro, it's only a matter of time. Just like your bro said, you work too hard for you not to make it.
And I mean, it's century-old saying, you got to spend money to make money. You got to.
Man,
this podcast that you're doing right now.
It costs. You got to invest time, money, a lot of time.
Like with the way that you have everything set up. I see this being a way that could an extra income stream.
Maybe one day.
But people watching this, they all know there's the income for free. You had to get your cameras. You had to get the fancy lights, the fancy mics. Right. So it's always been the same thing. Like, the more you spend, the more result you're gonna get out of it. Don't crash out. Like I can't. If I got $10,000 to my name, I can't go spend $9,500 on music, because then I still have real life. I got rent at the end of the month. I gotta eat tonight,
man.
So it gets hard, but yeah, man, you gotta spend a little bit of money to do it.
How do you invest back into yourself so then you can be able to feel confident with your music?
Man, so a lot of it is just making sure, like when you spend money, make sure you're getting what you're paying for. Yeah. Because a lot of people are gonna want you to give their money, but that's gonna be the end of that relationship. Like, you might put $500 in their pocket for a video editor or something like that, and then that's that. There's nothing that came off the back end of it. So I feel like what helps me, knowing that I'm at the point to where I'm slowly spending less and less money each day to do what I want to do, but I'm at the point where I'm still spending. So what helps me is like just knowing, all right, if I put in $100 here, I've got 20 tickets for $10 a piece.
Dang.
So that's I'm always looking at it as an investment, as a profitable investment, because sometimes you invest and you lose.
Exactly.
I always look at it as like, I can't, even if I don't get no money out of this, I'm not losing, because actually putting this money in is putting me ahead of 90% of these rappers out here.
What got you in the business mindset? Because you went to KU for a little bit, right?
No college.
Okay, no college. Like what was it like got you into the like this business mindset? Because I feel like maybe there's somebody that inspired you or something that you kind of gravitated towards, or even reading books.
It goes back to so my senior project at North was actually over how record labels try to extort artists.
Dope.
Which I didn't back then. I wanted to be a rapper, but it was more for like the image. Like,
okay,
I rap. I'm a rapper.
Okay, for the image, the girl,
yeah,
the cars,
was no,
the
like,
girls.
yeah, no backing, like the no backside of it. But once I really started researching, like, damn, excuse me, Lil Pump got signed for $10,000.
No way.
Yeah, and like that was when he had Gucci Gang and
I thought he got like an $8 million contract.
So his first with that little with the Gucci Gang one,
Gucci Gang.
he did he had signed a $10,000 label or contract for that.
Really?
And there was one other song right afterwards. He was like 17 at the time.
Right.
So the next one blew up too. I can't remember the name now.
Yeah.
But he didn't get any royalties off of it. What? And this is when I was like in high school. I was really paying attention to. So I got to doing some research and stuff, and just found out how like the label probably made millions off that song. And
bro, because it was popping.
He got a $10,000 advance, like, and to him that's a lot of money.
17.
To me, I got one song, and you want to give me $10,000 for it. But that was because I had no business experience behind it, and I wasn't doing my senior research project and stuff. Once I realized that labels only exist because of artists, they're only getting paid because they got artists to give them music to put out. If the artist didn't give them music to put out, you wouldn't need a label, and that's a lot of the independent mindset. And so once I realized like, shit, I could do this myself, and just started doing the research on it and how easily you can get screwed over on it. It kind of put me in that business mindset of I had to get over of thinking everybody was out to get me now, because I got too deep into that rabbit hole. So I had to realize there are people that will help you. Not everyone is just trying to get something,
bro. And I feel like also too, like on that note right there, like people out to get me, like it's that kind of that victim mindset. Is almost like I can't trust anybody, but it's like it sounds like kind of like you definitely have healed through some stuff to kind of even have that mindset of not everybody's out to get me. Like, yeah. You know what I mean?
And it was also moms too. Mom was always,
man, she's a big
mom was like
supporting all
so
this,
how are you
bro.
gonna make money off of this? And I remember her asking, and like she would ask me,
and she's saying it in a loving way. It's not kind of like hating on you.
No, she's asking me as in like, hey, you're gonna have to live life here eventually. Like, I'm glad I don't live with her no more or nothing. But this right. I'm like 18, 19. She's like, no, I'm actually, let me be real. I'm probably like 21, 20.
Okay.
And she's asking me, how are you gonna make money off of this? And I'm embarrassed. I'm like, I haven't thought that deep. I haven't thought that far.
Right.
And so like once people around you start looking like, okay, how are you gonna make money off of this? That's either where you flip or you fall. And you're like, all right. To me, I flipped. I said, okay, y'all want to see how I'm gonna make money off of this? Let me show you. And then boom, let me get these hats. Let me get these t-shirts. Let me do these small shows.
And like you said, they fold. And there's a bar you said on one of the tracks too. I think it might have been on the Holding You Back one. You said something about people fold when it gets risky.
Yeah.
And, I'm trying to remember how the line went, but it was along the line. You said people fold when it gets risky, but it's just like, what makes you that person who doesn't fold?
Man,
you know what I mean? Like, you don't fold.
That resilience, that strength, that past. Because shoot, I remember when I folded for 2-3 years, and I'll always go back to that, because if I was making music for that 2 to 3 years, I'd be 2 to 3 years ahead of where I am right now. And right now, I enjoy the position I'm in. So it's a little dangerous to try to look into the future like that. Now I look at it as like, okay, I gotta work 2 to 3 more years to get make up for lost time.
Right.
And so that's why a lot of people will see they'll be like, damn, bro, you putting out too much music. I'm like, I'm putting out enough to catch up. And then, right now I'm at the point where, okay, every 3 weeks I could drop some music. Right. And they got a catalog to go back to.
So people think you put out too much.
I've had people tell me that I should hold back and build up a vault, but they clearly don't know me and Wzrd Mac's relationship. Right. Wzrd Mac is gonna always make sure.
He got beats ready to go.
Hey, bro, 70-30. 70-30. And I'm like, what do you mean 70-30? He's like, make sure that you got 70% of your music in the vault, and what you got out is 30%. So yeah, I got a lot of music.
I like that. So he got okay. So hold 70% back.
Yeah.
And present
so
30%.
What I've got out now is about 30% of my music, and it's a lot of music. So imagine on the back end, I've got over double that. I've got 70%.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
you got tracks that's ready to.
I've got hundreds of songs that I've got.
That's crazy.
Tens to like 50s of songs that'll never even see the light of day. So within those hundreds of songs, I've got like if I have 100, I do for sure have 100 songs in the vault. Maybe 30 of them will come out. 30 to 40.
It's only the best.
Yeah.
So you just it's kind of like tryouts.
But in that vault, yeah, I got that vault built up for when it gets deep for sure. Like
right.
you know, label might come try to throw some money and it gets deep for sure.
Gets deep,
I already
bro.
got them ready to go.
So what are you gonna do when you get that call? You know what I mean? That call when it's like, all right, time to go.
Man, I'm gonna turn up because this is what I'm working. That's really what I'm working for is waiting to get that call. All right, bro, it's time to hit the road, man. We got this club booking ready to go. We got this photo shoot. Got this meet and greet. At that point, I'm uprooting everything I got going on here, and I'm hitting that road. And but just want to play it smart because I know for sure, my whole senior project. So I understand it might even take me a little longer. But I just don't want to. I don't want to have a hit and get $10,000.
That's what I was going to ask you too. Like, are you a little bit fearful of cutting a deal? Because I know, like, even like when I spoke with Angelo's like, man, like signing a deal may not be the best, but it puts you in the room around people you may not have been around.
Yeah,
you know, executives or other artists. So I don't know your thoughts about if you were presented like an actual deal.
I like
would you take it? You know,
I mean, I would take it for sure, but this is the best way I can explain it. Is I'm an independent artist up until I get a deal that's worth it, and the only deal that'll be worth it is I'm an independent artist with a team of people that have pushed me. So I can't be the only one that, like, if I get signed for, I could honestly sign for $100K and flip that into way more than that. I know my hustler mindset, but you know, well, okay, I could sign for $100K and I'm keeping probably less than half of that. Because I like doing equal. I like keeping shit equal. We all put in the same amount of work. So at that point, you know, I've got digital marketers, I've got promoters, I've got engineers, I've got producers. So like I'd like to sign a deal one day, but I honestly feel like as of right now, my team can get it more by ourselves until that label. We do everything the label offers.
Let's talk about that as far as a team, because that's something that a lot of artists, they try to operate alone.
Yeah.
You know, why is having a team so important? And talk a little bit about you said Pal World? Is that the name of the team?
Pal Gang.
Pal Gang. All right. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about why a team is so important to have.
Man, I know for sure my team, this is how this happened. I won't even be in the room and my name will get mentioned. Humble Greatness, he shoots all of my videos. He's always calling me just to check in on me as a person, make sure that I'm good. He's known me since I was like 13. So you know, I'm 26 now, so he's known me over a decade.
He used to live down the street from me growing up. Yo.
Yeah, okay. So
back
so
in high school.
He's a good person, and it's just because people like Humble Greatness, like how we had I said he grew up with us and stuff.
Absolutely.
They're gonna speak for you when you're not there. They know you. They know the real you, and they know if they can vouch for you or not in the setting that they're in.
Absolutely, man.
So that's one of the biggest things is just being able to have somebody. You don't have to always be there, but you have somebody. You're there through the power of presence,
bro.
And so as long as you got your team just with the best interest of not only you, of you, because you have the best interest of the whole team, and you'll be good.
You'll be good, bro.
But you can't do it by yourself. It's too much,
bro. It's way too much. And how did you get introduced to the Pal Gang? Like, how did you get connected with them?
It was dope. So I was doing a run of shows here, like a run of small shows.
You just are emailing like just venues, just telling them like, hey, can I perform?
I want to say no. I was actually sending out random friend requests on Facebook to local promoters that I saw doing shows. So if I saw a person here that I looked up to doing a show, I hit them up, and I hit that promoter that got that person on the show. Okay. And it all started with those showcases by Humble.
Tell everybody a little bit to like how you started to get shows and whatnot and bookings, because there's people watching who may they might have some dope music, but they never had a show.
Okay, so
you know what I mean?
I ran into a lot of local promoters. I sent them random friend requests on Facebook.
Yeah.
If I saw them doing a show, I would send them a friend request.
Okay.
Like I would never send the artist a friend request. I go straight to the promoter.
Smart.
And then I just send them a message. Hey, I'm an artist from here. I see you do a lot of shows. Kept it short and sweet. I'd like to help, provide my talents for free on one of your shows.
And they would message back.
Yeah, and they would just message me back and say cool. And so that's how I met Pal Gang. Was doing a show here. I want to say it was at couldn't tell you where it was at. It was a while ago. It was at Barcode.
Okay.
And they had gotten booked to come here to do a show through like a team of like network.
Mm-hmm.
You could travel from like Oklahoma to Kansas City to Wichita and do shows with. The promoters have a network, so once you get in with one, it's easy to travel. Mm-hmm. And so I did that show, and Pal Gang was in the audience watching me perform before they performed. And my music had spoke to Z. She's the manager over there, and I guess my music has really hit her. Like she was like sending me messages of the lyrics that I was saying on stage. And in my head, I was so used to, shitty sound at all these shows. I don't even know if people can understand what I'm saying. So when she was doing that, I was like, oh, you listening. Like, you really tapped in. And then she had invited me out to a showcase. Just off the strength of me doing this small show, I went to a showcase in OKC. Mm-hmm. And it was my first time in OKC. And through them, it was the showcase was who can bring the most people. And I was in second place. And I was 3.5 hours away from home. There's like 10 plus people through their team, through the strength of them, to come support me, and so that was dope. And it's been uphill ever since then. You meet one promoter, you'll slowly I met the Barcode promoter. Through Barcode, I found Pal Gang. Through Pal Gang, I found Big Yogi. Yogi put me on Slim Thug, Paul Wall. So it's just utilizing them connections.
Bro, that's really impressive because you said you came in second. You sold the most tickets. You second place at least, bro. So
3.5 hours away from home. That's when I realized, like, damn, okay, teamwork.
Man, teamwork made the dream work. Yeah. Some of these cheesy phrases we hear are true.
Those be like,
you know what I mean?
It's almost like caveman sayings because they sound so simple, bro, but
that's
hard work pays off. But no, hard work pays off.
Bro, simplicity is the highest form of sophistication, bro. The simplest things are the hardest to do sometimes. Yeah. Just even if somebody want to step to a female, it's just say hello. That can be hard for somebody.
I've seen people have panic attacks over that.
Oh, shoot. You one of your homies?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. We ain't gonna say his name.
We've got him on there. We got him on the back end of it. Like, hey, bro,
he better have a panic attack trying to step to the baddie, right?
Yeah.
Man, see, I had Sean Gates on the episode a couple weeks ago. He said, man, if you're not ready for the feedback or the criticism, you were not ready for a baddie because you're not going to be able to have that confidence. She might tell you, hey, I'm not really feeling this. Yeah. You got to take that feedback and adapt to whatever situation. And even as far as music, because I work a lot of times with these young kids, and I'm like, man, they'll play a track. And I'm like, hey, do you want my opinion or do you just want me to listen? But if they ask for my opinion, I'm going to tell you, bro, you're not rhyming. Yeah. You're not rhyming at all. You're off beat. And you need a real studio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I wanted to ask you about your thoughts about artificial intelligence and the music industry. And do you have any worries or concerns about AI and the music industry,
No worries or concerns on my end because I'm a rapper, I'm the artist. I see it really playing a major role in where the labels try to get people. And so I could see it getting to the point to where you don't need a label, you just need the best AI technology to tell you when to drop your song, what time, when it'll have the most. You need something that's going to soak in all that information and pump out that formula on the back end. Hey, every 3 weeks, Friday, 12 o'clock, drop a song. And then you have that.
Bro, that would actually be kind of helpful, huh?
And I know that AI stuff can get super deep. So, at that point, you don't need the label to go into your YouTube analytics and check your demographics, your age groups and stuff. Feed it into the system. It's going to tell you, hey, your biggest fan group right now is 20 to 25 year olds
in Seattle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And
yeah, so you're like, bet I'm about to book my show in Seattle, and that's what the labels are supposed to, provide you. So I look at it on the rapper artist side, unless you're already Taylor Swift level or Drake
Swift
level, like all those levels to where your voice can get recorded, or like you could have a song come out and it's not you, and somebody could profit off of that. Right. But I mean, for people in my position, it shouldn't even be a worry. We should look at it as it's gonna help us in the near future. It's gonna help us here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like when or if.
I love that, man. Like, and that's what the thing about you, man. You seem like a very positive guy. You know what I mean? I feel like you seem like a very positive guy. And I don't know what. Maybe it went back through that dark time, but like, what helped you with your positivity? Because you don't seem really like negative at all.
Oh yeah, so it was just the switch of my life to better myself, because I used to see everything negative. I saw the negative in everything. There wasn't. You could tell me it's like the best thing about to happen to me, and I'm like, well, this could also happen, and then and it comes to it a lot of just like not having trust. I didn't have a lot of trust in people, and I had to really go inside and fix some things. But
do you feel positive when it comes to like relationships? Do you still have that same mindset when it comes to like dating, even though you're not really focused on it? Or is it still hard to be able to trust, like, if this woman's going to be here and support what I want to do?
It's gotten a lot harder just because, I've ran into a lot of people with ulterior motives that, I think are my friends, or they just want to get booked onto the next show I'm getting booked for. Or they want to find who's printing my hats. So it's hard for me to separate. I gotta realize, like, inside of my head that, okay, there's this Hippy K, and then a relationship isn't gonna be with Hippy K, it's gonna be with Kobe. Okay. So I gotta understand that, like, if I could separate the two, like, this girl likes me because I'm Kobe and not because I'm in front of 1,000 people on stage, or because I'm out here selling hats and making good music, getting recognition. So once I can read that in a person, like the character, I'll be able to tell, like, oh, okay, this girl messes with me for me.
It's going to only get harder.
Yeah, for sure.
Does that worry you?
A little bit, because, I'd like to find somebody before, like, all this takes into full effect, because I know if I don't, then I'm going to be in that sick, cycle of, like, man, different industry chicks.
Man, that's great.
Like, dating for clout, like,
Man, because people want to be able to, like, they'll just know you for Hippy and not for as Kobe. You know what I mean? But speaking of your name, Hippy, maybe you could tell us a little bit, how did you come up with that name, Yeah. And maybe it's not exactly like what it sounds like. You think of hippie, you think of like a hippie with tie-dye shirt and a joint in his mouth. But like, where does that name come from?
So it's more of like a modern hippie take in terms of, I'm big on trying to cut down pollution and don't litter, because, this is where we at. This is our
only home we got.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for sure, and that comes into trying to like better myself as a person. Because the hippie really came from that bettering myself as a person, having the love, the positivity, and the peace. Right. Because before hippie, there was none of that.
Bro.
So, like, I feel like that really resonated with the message that I was trying to put out. In songs like See You Make It or Focused. I'm rapping about some real life scenarios that are like, just stay focused or stay motivated.
It's tough.
And so, that hippie just came from live a hippie lifestyle. Take care of yourself. Bro. Make sure that, you're not putting horrible things in your body, all the toxins and, stuff like that. Live a modern hippie lifestyle.
Modern hippie lifestyle.
That modern comes with,
that could be like a whole like little slogan right there. Live a modern hippie lifestyle. Yeah. Like that could be like, I could see that on a shirt. Like there's so much that could go with that. You could even be able to sell like some kind of water bottle or something that's going to help save the planet.
Those 100% like non-plastic.
Right.
Yeah, for
exactly.
Real. That's the ultimate goal, like with my merch and hats and stuff.
Yeah,
like
endorsements, all that stuff.
I want like 100% hemp shirts for my merch, and just everything. I want everything to be.
That would be dope, bro.
Around
because then people will see like, man, like not only is it quality in the music, but the quality in the materials, and the merch. Like, because like maybe like I'm not as informed, but like most of the money as like rappers nowadays, where does it come from? Is it shows? Is it merch? Is it from sponsors, but where is most of the money coming from when it comes to like rappers? Like, how are they getting their money? Like, if just for like the music part of it, you know?
It's really your shows and your merch, because you know, anything else you're gonna see like fractions of a penny on
views,
plays,
and
all that the streams and stuff. You see fractions of a penny,
man.
But
literally,
on like, you know, a hat. If you can find yourself a solid supplier for, you know, you get the whole hat plus all the designs on it for like $15, $10-$15, and you could turn around and sell that for $30, you're good.
Wow.
So like, it's
definitely. What's your formula for like your hit songs? You know what I mean? Like when you're wanting to make like a hit track, is it like, hey, I'm gonna go in there and make a hit track, or does it just happen naturally for you?
I'd say it happens more naturally. There's definitely a process to it, like, you know, find out your melodies, get your hums in, find out what's gonna sound good.
Get those Kid Cudi hums. That's when you say hums. Yeah. That's like Kid Cudi.
Definitely like, but I mean, for me, it's just I hear that beat, and then all that comes instantly. Like those hums I'll hear it in my head. I'll hear this is how you should rap. So like when it just comes to making a hit, a real good sounding song, yeah, it definitely is. It's all about trusting yourself and trusting the process.
Right, bro. Yeah. I mean, that's the name of the album.
Yeah, trust the process. Yeah.
Was that intentional?
I mean, it was intentional to call it that in terms of, you know, you got to just trust everything you're doing. But I never realized how much that came into play in my life until I dropped it. And it was kind of like that, I'll drop a song and it'll manifest type things.
Exactly.
Dropped that and I realized how much I actually do trust the process. Bro. I almost just quit this all, bro. Like last week, in the back of my head.
Like, talking about the rapping?
Yeah, like I could never quit. Like, because in the back of my head, I still have those 2 to 3 years yelling at me, hey, bro, you quit for 2 to 3 years and then get nowhere. So I'll never quit. But bro, I almost was just like, in the span of 30 days, you know, my car got stolen outside of my house.
Are you serious?
My dad had a stroke, was in the hospital. My cousin had his accident, and I had gotten fired from my job. And this is like, boom, 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 back to back to back. And I was just like,
bro, that's a lot.
I know if I wasn't doing none of this shit, I wouldn't have no problems. Like I'd be back to being a bum, sitting there, you know, sitting on the couch working. Bro, no offense to anybody working at Spangles. I'm naming that as a Wichita staple. But I'd be working at Spangles, you know, until I'm like 40.
Bro, so you said within the last 30 days, all those things happened? Yeah, bro, like you lost a job, lost a car, dad had a stroke, and then your cousin got into the car,
broke his neck. Yeah, so
it was still right here smiling today,
man,
bro. Like,
I definitely took my week, you know, to had people asking, you know, where are you at? Are you okay? What's going on? I took my week to back up, but I came on the other side of that way stronger. Like, bro, now I got my cousin's head in the back of my voice. Hey, you work too hard to, you know, not to make it. So I was like, shit, let me work harder, bro. I got you.
And so, like, it's the struggle motivates you, you know, like for somebody else who went through just like maybe even just one of those things, bro. Like, they're like, whatever. But you went through like 4 like pretty traumatic stuff within the last month, man. And then you still were able to have the positivity. Like, it's just, you're able to bounce back, like you said.
Trust the process, bro. Like, never realized how much it mattered to me until I put it out, and now I can look back. Like, I get down on times like this. All right, bro, you put out a whole tape talking about trust what you're doing, so keep doing it.
Bro, that's crazy. How's your dad doing, man?
He's doing good. He's on the back end of things, slowly getting back into his regular everyday life.
Did he used to rap back in the day?
He'll tell you he did. You know, he doesn't have any songs out or anything. Okay. He's busted a freestyle to me a couple times, but I swear I've heard it on the radio.
Yeah, like you and your dad in the studio, would that be dope?
It would be dope for sure. You know, it probably would have happened because I try to separate right.
Okay, yeah, for sure. I get it, man. Like,
my sister will ask me to come to shows, and I'm like, hey, let me wait until I get green room access, VIP, everything, and then you can come to every show you want. But as of now, I don't want you standing right next to me at this show, because if something goes off, I'm going viral. I'm Hippy K. Right. You're Kobe's sister, so I don't want that to happen to you.
What are some of the things, you know, that people don't know about you? You know what I mean? Like some things that, you know, people maybe make assumptions about, you know, if they see you or hear your music. Like, what's something that people don't know about you that you're willing to share that you feel like they should know?
But it's just back to that dark place I came from, and really working on myself to come onto the other side of that. Yeah, man. Because, I mean, one thing I really like to preach and that I'll always stand on is, you know, depression is real.
Real, bro.
But on the other side of that, you know, it's up here. So I feel like you can really fight as long as you continue to fight and understand that, man, you got people that care for you, people that love you, people that, you know, everybody looks at me and they're like, oh, this is he's always smiling, he's always happy, he's always, but
they don't call you Happy K.
Yeah, yeah, right. And it's not that I always am, but it's in those times where I'm not. I understand. Hey, this is my head fucking with me. This is, you know, this is the devil back here telling me that, like, you're not good enough. You're not gonna make it. Then on the other side, right? You know, I was raised up in the churches. I walk with God. I got God over here telling me, bro,
you already made it.
You're hard. Like, you're doing what you're supposed to do.
That's the thing. That's crazy that you said it. Yeah, because that angel and that devil on the shoulder is so real. It's like the devil is like literally, you know, hitting those shadow messages of, you're not good enough. You should just stop. Like you said, like you almost thought about, you know, you almost listen to that voice because, see, the devil, his voice is loud. Yeah. He's talking loud. And so God's voice, he's just quiet. He's just like, thy will be done.
Really seeing it.
You know what I mean? Just chilling. So, like, we going to hear that loud voice first because it's just louder. But we have to learn how to tune that out and just focus on that small, still, quiet whisper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's crazy, bro, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show, man.
I appreciate
you coming on the show, man. It's definitely nice to get to meet you finally in person, bro. Like I said, you have that positivity and the energy and the style, everything that you need to be able to make it today as an artist. But let's see if, like, maybe, like, you know, 10 years from now, maybe you tune back into this podcast. What would you want to manifest, right? We want to be able to speak this into existence before you go. For sure. So then you can put it out there in the universe, bro. Like, what do you want to manifest? You know what I mean?
So when I'm back on your podcast in 10 years, we'll be able to watch this and go back to it. And I'm coming back. In 10 years, man, I want to be able to walk in here. And I got my team with me. Yeah. And, you know, at that point, I might have a little bit of, like, the Hippy K pendant, some, you know, a little bit of ice or everything. But I want to be able to come in and do the same exact podcast. I want to come in and tell you the same exact answers. You know, it's all about your family. It's all about keeping God with you. It's all about focusing on your mental health. I want to be able to walk in and live 10 years of the best life that I can live and then come back and still be on my same morals.
That's crazy, man. And so, like, what you said to me even brought up a whole nother idea. It's like, cause like we chase this money and this material stuff, but like even like you wanted to get your mom that house, but it's like she still would be happy even if you didn't even get it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's crazy when you think about it. So it's like, I'm curious, like, what do you feel like that's gonna do if you get that house? Like, what does that represent to you? Maybe obviously you made it, but like maybe you're thinking that's gonna do something for her internally.
It'll do something for me internally. It'll show that, like, you know, I can do this, that I can provide, and I can provide on a different level than anybody's ever been able to do. And that's just,
it's like the biggest thank you. It's like, thank you.
Yeah, like this wouldn't have been able to happen without you. So, you know, as a token of my appreciation, here's whatever you want,
bro. That's real, bro. Well, hopefully mom is going to tune in and watch the video as well, man. So shouts out to her.
Shouts
and
to
you said
mom.
Your sister's a teacher. What school is she at?
It's a charter school, a predominantly black charter school in Kansas City. So what she does is, man, she's really out there guiding the youth. Like, bro, you know, there's a lot of it's a rough area around where she works at, and she's right there in the middle of it, making sure that these kids are smiling at school. If I had a teacher like her, probably would have made it a lot farther in school.
There we go, man. So shouts out to your family, man. You come from a good home, bro. So if there's any like links or things you want for the people tuning in to go to plug you in real quick,
I just say follow me on Instagram, ITSHIPPYK. It's Hippy K, or there's a Facebook page we just made, Hippy K, HIPPY space K.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. Make sure you guys follow these pages, man. So we're gonna sign off. We're gonna wrap up this podcast for today. We got HIPPY to the K here today, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Fully Connected Podcast. We out.